You might be thinking, how do I make a thumbnail? I'll get you. We're good. We've got that covered in this video too. Now there's Canva. Canva is where you're going to be able to create your thumbnails and such, and this is really kind of an easily painless way to go about doing it. They actually have a template in here. You just click on create once you've got an account set up with Canva. And then from here, they've even got templates, and you can buy the pro version if you want some of their major templates, but even some of the free ones are really not that complicated to find. And you can even you basically, very easily can pick together a thumbnail very quickly. So, like, for example, you hit, assuming I'm not, like, losing my mind here. Basically, okay, well, all right. So, for example, you go in here, you can go into uploads, upload your own files, videos, and stuff in that nature. And then let's say you get a background, you can actually drag and drop, or you can just right click. It doesn't really matter, because if you click here and then replace background, that's a different way to go about doing it. And then, and say, hey, look at these kills, dude. Like, that's really all there is to it as far as actually going about getting this on here. Now, I recommend that, as far as thumbnail strategy goes, I've seen a lot of people, especially in the Lawrence mobile community, that are way too emphasizing on the text here. Like, they'll go blah, 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 but they do it in massive freaking text. It looks like crap. Okay, what I recommend doing, pick a font, stick to a font, use a pattern of recognition that so when people look at your channel, they know exactly what thumbnail is going to belong to you. The other thing you want to do is you also kind of want to stick to a theme, and you want to stick to kind of a strategy or a set of brand colors if you can, because that is going to help your channel out over the long term. Now, I'm going to teach you a little trick. Now, this is one of those things that, like, you might notice that I have, like, kind of these icons and stuff like that come straight off of Lord's Mobile, and you might be wondering, how do I create these? Because, where the hell is these coming from? Because you're not getting these from Ruck and IGG, are you? And you're surely not going to be getting this stuff from anywhere else, so how the heck do you do this? I'll tell you, it's not actually that bad. It's really quite easy. So what you do, right, is basically, let's say you got a clip, or maybe you've got an in-game clip of whatever the hell it is that you're doing. So let's say, for example, I don't know, I got a clip of, say, Crimdor, all right? And I want to look at Crimdor really close. I can do Windows key Shift S. This is going to bring up what is known as snipping tool. And you can snip, so the image that you want on your screen. Okay, and you'll notice that it'll actually go in here and save. You can hit Control S to go ahead and save this, and in my case, it already automatically throws it in that location. And then, to add insult to injury, you can then go into remove.bg. Okay, and then with remove.bg, you can then go to your screenshots folder, or wherever the hell you saved it to, for that matter. So in this case, screenshots, in my case, I can click on that icon, it will go in and remove the background. And of course, if I don't like it, I can go into edit. And I can then go into erase and restore. And I can scroll in and hit the blah, blah, blah if I need it to go up a little closer. Make my brush size ever so tiny. And let's say I don't want this shit. So get rid of this. I don't want that. I don't want the 25. Get rid of the 25. A little act of, favor, but it's basically AI. So I can just go in here. I can take out all that gibberish that I do not want. I can just take that shit out without a care in the world, and it's relatively easy to do. And I know with a little bit of trial and error, you can basically get in here, clear out the stuff that you don't want, and then let's say you've got bits and pieces that you do want. Well, then you click on restore, and it's basically the opposite of what you just did. So you click on here, you hit restore, and then you hit here and you hit restore, and you just rinse and repeat until you get what you're looking for. And now, let's say I'm happy with it. And okay, lo and behold, there's my image. And then you can hit download and you're good to go. And then you can literally do this rinse and repeat for every guided image you want. You can even go in here and modify it just to do whatever the hell you please. Really, really, really simple tool. But this is remove.bg. Now, another tool that I'm going to suggest that is also really useful is actually something to do with AI. And as it goes through here and actually generates, you do have like a set limit. Obviously, this is not something that is infinitesimal, but for the most part, it's free. And it's within reason. And now here I have a candle with an elephant with an electric guitar. just like that. And all I did was search it, and I can just regenerate it, and I can do it over and over and over. So, like, let's say, for example, I don't know, I'm a Lords Mobile YouTuber. I want a background, so I don't know, a castle on fire with a army, or with an army of medieval soldiers, or something like that, right? And you can even get it more specific like this. Like, you can do pixel art or 3D-dimensional, or you can go as complicated as you so goddamn please. Or if you need a logo or whatever, you can go there, dude. Like, it's an option. But now, here we go. Like, this isn't a matter of just seconds. That's how simple this is. This is why I show it to you, because it is almost brainless how easy this stuff is, and yet nobody knows how to do it. And it's like, what the heck? I feel like I must be in the world of freaking interesting stuff. Naturally, this is why I'm showing you. So the more you know. But one of the things that I highly recommend is getting a playlist and creating your playlist if you don't already have it. Create a Lords Mobile playlist, and then one thing you also want to do within that playlist is you want to point people and have a strategy with this playlist. So you can either do one of two things. You can either set it up as a series playlist, which we'll get into here in a second. Now, when you're actually editing playlists and stuff like that, you want to go through the YouTube Studio portion of your channel, and then you want to click on your playlist. You want to click on the three dots, edit on YouTube. Weird as this may be, it's temporary, but it's one thing to keep in mind. You want to click on the three dots here, and then you want to go to playlist settings. You want to allow embedding. You want to allow set as a official series for this playlist and hit done. You can also hit add new videos to the top of the playlist. And this way, as people watch, setting it as an official playlist will basically make it so that it plays the next video and the next video and the next video. And that's one way to go about actually setting up your playlist, so that way your content is constantly going from one to the next. The other thing you can do is within your playlist, you can even make it so that people collaborate and add content to it. But now we're going to get into more of the metadata side of this, which is your tags, and also whether or not do you want, is it for kids, blah, 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 blah. Again, we'll get into the thumbnail part here in a second, but the main thing with tags in particular is, it'll already probably more than likely right out of the bat just tell you what some of the tags that you can rank for. And in here, you can find all of the different tags that you can use for your videos, as well as different videos that maybe it starts ranking up for. So, like, for example, Lords Mobile is probably a search term that people are going to find my content for, so I'll probably use Lords Mobile. But then in here, I can even go through other ranking videos and see what tags they're using, see what views per minute they're getting, and see what tags they're ranking for. And this competition score, or overall score here, the competition is basically what your channel has got to do to compete against the other channels ranking for that search term. But also the search volume is something relevant, because this tells you approximately how many people are actually searching that search term. And that's, something you have to weigh. So I really highly recommend checking out the Keyword Inspector. Really, just do this first, long before you actually start producing content, because this will give you a really good roadmap before you even start producing content. But naturally, if you're like me, you just kind of do it after the fact. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's just more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to YouTube in my book. Okay, but it's easy to fall into this trap, because in some ways more than one, you can overdo it. So, if you can see a lot of these are kind of, they're generic, in some ways more than one, and some of these don't even make sense. Even though these are search terms on Lords Mobile, you'll also find that they're also not specific to English. You'll find that, oh yeah, you can do things multilingually. That is a big deal in any video on YouTube, is that you don't necessarily have to make content just in English. You could make it in Spanish, or Russian, or Brazilian, or God knows how many other languages. Okay, that's all an option, and it's all there. And I highly recommend exploring that, because that is something that you will find that you can do. Now, I will say that outside of that, once you've actually got your metadata set up and you've got your video pretty much set up metadata-wise, the next step is one strategy you do want to apply here is when you add an end screen, I highly recommend when you're doing end screens, you should totally add like a, like an ending screen. Don't bother with intros. A lot of people love doing intros, but focus on hooking a video. Don't focus on doing like a generic freaking, hello, my name's Bob, or some shit like that. Get to the fucking point. Do not waste people's time, okay? And then fundamentally, when you're ending the video, move them on to the next video that you want them to watch. And so always have that in mind whenever you're producing videos. And that's going to help you really long term. You really want to be able to direct people to keep watching. You don't want to lose that momentum. So you can either do one of two things. You can either focus strategically for either, hey, subscribe to my channel, or B, hey, check out my playlist, or 3, which is my personal favorite, picking a video that you want them to watch as opposed to any other video. So like for this video, I might want them to watch, let's say a certain video. I can click and say, hey, the most recent upload, I want you to watch every time you look and watch this video. I could even have YouTube, hey, pick the best video for the viewer and let YouTube decide how to do that. Or you can be very, very strategic here and say you want to create an enormous loop. You could go in here, pick individual videos, and have a strategy in which, hey, maybe we're doing a topic on this, and you might like this, and then you can click and have them go to that video. It's really, really important, though, that whatever you do decide to do, you don't completely skip out on end screens, because in some ways more than one, they're a really handy thing to do in your content. It really, really does make a huge difference. And then the last thing I recommend doing is always making sure to unlist your videos once you're done editing them. That way they go through a check, and that verifies if the monetization has any problems, or if there's any, like obviously when you first upload a video, the HD quality will not be ready right away. So you want to always give it enough time to be able to basically process and render, especially if it's a 10 to 15 or even 20-minute long video. And then what I recommend doing is scheduling, and it will typically tell you, that's the nice thing about vidIQ. How often are my users watching me, when, where, and how? It will tell you. That's the lovely thing about that extension that I really cannot praise more. Now, if you're wondering which plan do I have the $50 version of the plan. So if you want my 2 cents, I highly recommend getting vidIQ because, again, it is a stupid amount of help. Now, if you have more questions and you're wanting to know more about producing videos for Lords Mobile, like, hey, I got videos on my phone and I have all these things that I don't know how to do or I want to know more about, you're welcome to join the Discord. I've got links in the description for all of the things that I've been discussing in this video so far, but you're welcome to join the Discord. If you have individual personal questions you want to ask me, you can always become a member. And you can, obviously I will answer to anybody that's a channel member or anybody that is a member inside the Discord. I will always answer as many questions as I possibly can from anybody that is in that regard, because that's just kind of the way I go with my, so I'm a busy dude. I got way too many things to do. And obviously, if you don't know how to do it yourself, I'm also on Fiverr, so you can look at my name and look at Dakanoth Bushman, and I do have a couple of gigs on there, so you're more than welcome to check those out as well. If for some reason you've got a bunch of clips, want to know how to do, hey, I got a couple of clips, can you make it into something? I can do that for some. But, hey, all things aside, that is pretty much how you produce content on YouTube. This is probably more than enough information for you to get started, and hopefully you learned a thing or two. So make sure to like the video, and I will see you guys next time.